Okay, following on from where we finished off, where we did our basic refactoring to encapsulate a public instance variable, which was a very bad thing to have, and remembering that refactoring is a process of changing the structure of an application without changing its behavior. We have a couple of more things that we want to do. So if we go back to the lab sheet that you have there, the next item here is to create an inner interface in the class Caesar cipher as follows, and explain any issues that such an approach may give rise to. You sometimes see this kind of thing being done, and you will actually see it as part of the Android API. And if you ask me, it's one of the things that contributes the most to its instability. Now look, I'm going to put this, I'm just copying and pasting, which again I probably shouldn't be doing, this interface, but I'm going to put it under the finalize method, but before the get and set key methods. I want them at the bottom for a reason you'll see in a minute. Okay, so I've got an inner interface. Now what is wrong with this? Well, effectively it creates an instability in our application. Conceptually, I have something concrete. The class Caesar cipher is a concrete class. It's got a constructor and it can be called, okay, from a separate class. An instance of it can be directly manufactured like such. Okay, so something highly stable, okay, or something concrete, okay, which can change, contains something contains something which is very, very stable, an abstract, which is a cipher key. So it's the notion here is that something stable-ish is containing something that's far more stable than itself. That really should be the opposite way. It really should be something that's unstable or volatile, should be relying or dependent upon something that is more stable than itself. Cipher key is more stable than Caesar cipher. Therefore, Caesar cipher should have a dependency on cipher key. Also, cipher key can have no existence outside of a Caesar cipher. That may or may not be a good thing. We might want to reuse the functionality of cipher key across a plethora of different types of encryption algorithms. This is bad, okay? As I said, it creates this inner dependency on something that is more stable than ourselves. But we'll go along with it anyway. We can all, of course, refer to that now as Caesar cipher.cipherkey. Okay, so I've got Caesar cipher.cipherkey, and okay, add an inner class then to Caesar cipher that implements this as follows. Okay, so we're going to do the following. We're going to create an inner class. The inner class is public. Again, probably not a good idea. I really don't know any reason why you'd want an inner class as public. Why not just have it as a separate class altogether? Now, Eclipse is complaining. Why? Because CipherKey IMPL must implement all of the two methods from CipherKey. So we're going to do that. So we're going to just take out the override stuff, the comments and annotations, and make sure it compiles all the time. And if we look at the notes here, it's saying implement the required methods, okay, and add an instance variable called key text of type int. Okay, so we're definitely going to make this private. Private int key text, and do what? Well, I'm going to go this dot key text is assigned the value of my integer class dot parseInt key. Okay, and in the case of this, again, it's not going to be pretty. We're going to do the following. I'm going to return a new string with what? Well, containing null, no string, and we'll append onto that a key text, which is, as I said, not pretty. Okay, so here we have something, a class, an inner class of Caesar cipher. And this is referred to as Caesar cipher.cipherkey IMPL. And again, it just raises the point. What is it doing in this class along with an interface? It really doesn't make any sense. It'll make a lot less sense when you actually look at the actual compiled files that are generated. Okay, So we've done this. What is explain the consequences using the class in this way? What it means basically is that Caesar cipher key IMPL cannot be used outside the context of a Caesar cipher, which may not be bad. However, the cipher key IMPL should have an existence outside Caesar cipher. We're going to deal with that in a minute. Okay, the next thing to do then is to using a console, change the bin directory of Eclipse and examine the compiled class files, and then reverse compile them using the JDGUI tool. Now I've got the JDGUI tool ready to go here. You can search for it, just to search for JD-GUI on Google, and you can download it. It's about 8 megs. So I'm going to go into the bin directory here, and I'm going to make sure it's the bin directory. We'll see here, folks, that the names of our classes here, Caesar cipher, $cipher key.class, okay, Caesar cipher, $cipher key IMPL.class. That is how inner classes are represented. Okay, so I'm going to open all of those. So here we go. So here's our Caesar cipher, our interface, public abstract interface Caesar cipher key. And this illustrates the point here, folks. There is no benefit to be gained whatsoever in terms of the runtime performance of an application by using inner interfaces, because the compiler is going to create them as separate class files anyway. So we might as well do it properly to begin with, okay? So cipher key really ought to have been defined in its own interface type as a separate class, separate file called cipher key. A Caesar cipher IMPL is a little bit more interesting. Okay, again, if we look at it here, it implements, again, look at the way we must reference now the cipher key, the interface. It's the containing class dot the inner interface, and our constructor takes in this param Caesar cipher. Okay, again, this is external to it. So what's happening is an instance of the Caesar cipher is being passed so that the inner class can reference the containing class. That's what's going on there. Okay, our Caesar cipher class itself, we look at the bytecode, it's nothing major here. Okay, this has been just the way JDGUI has done it. It's reverse engineered this back into the Caesar cipher class, which is fine. The cipher exception is fine. Here you can see our serial UID is okay, and our cipher runner is fine as well. Okay, that concludes this part of this lab, and we'll finish the third part of it now, and look at a series of refactorings that can turn this into something a little bit better.